So recently I did a video about pacing and flow when it comes to gaming sessions. And I was explaining why back in the old school we could do 8 or 10 hour sessions, like breathing air, where it didn't feel tedious and it was a lot of fun. It's something that a lot of people in the new school don't do, that method. And the way they approach the game, the way they play their gaming sessions, makes the experience a lot more tedious. And given how they go about doing their gaming sessions, of course, I would agree with them. Doing 8 hours of that would be hard, and it's not something I would enjoy. I don't honestly even enjoy the way they go about their sessions in the 2 or 3 hours that they play them. Some people in the new school have been offended by that video. They think that I'm trying to change how things are. They think that I'm trying to bring something back and it just won't stand. Right? Now they want their shorter sessions. They don't want what I'm pitching. But I realize they have no idea what I'm talking about. The pacing and the flow and the enjoyment, they don't even know how that goes because that is not how they experience the gaming sessions that they're doing. And I'm honestly not trying to change how they want to experience the game. I think they misunderstand. They think I'm here to push back, to fight back against the new way of gaming. Not at all. I'm completely fine if you do your 2 or 3 hours every time. I'm just trying to inform people about something most don't commonly know. Why could we do 8 hours and it didn't feel as tedious as sessions can feel now? Why were we able to go with longer campaigns, do 100 sessions? Because there is an enjoyment that we had with our gaming sessions that I just don't see most people having now. And I'll link the video down below so you can go hear me out on what I have to say, how I explain the pacing and the flow of the game, and how we did our sessions differently, and why that was more enjoyable, and why it lasted longer, why we wanted to play longer, and why we did more sessions than what you see new school people doing on average now. You'll hear that the average campaign can go like 6 sessions, where we casually did 100, like breathing air. And I totally understand that if I was doing what many of the people in the new school are doing, I could not imagine holding out for 100 sessions or going beyond 3 hours. Yeah, I'd be bored, tired, and yawning as well. But people getting offended by the video, I am honestly confused. Well, not completely. Again, they think I'm trying to say, here's the old way, but they're like, no, screw the old way. This is the new way, and you got to get over it. And I'm like, well, I'm just trying to inform people. I don't care what you personally do. It's not like I'm not in tribal warfare here with you, right? I don't care if everybody in the new school keeps doing 2 to 3 hour gaming sessions. That's completely fine with me. It's just, I just realize they don't understand a certain element of what made old school gaming what it was. It wasn't that we just went through the tedious, right? And it was like, oh, we were happy with the tedious for 8 hours. No, what they're doing now is not what we did back then. So we had a different experience with our gaming sessions. And I just realized that if people in the new school knew about our experience and tried to do something similar, they would most likely find themselves wanting to do longer gaming sessions, and their campaigns would last longer. And to me, there's no path forward for everyone. People do what they want to do at their table. To say everyone in the new school has to do 2 hour sessions, well, that's just not how it works. We're individuals. Our tables each do what we want to do. That's the way I look at it. I'm not trying to win a battle with people. I just want people to know things, and that's why I do a lot of coverage of old school gaming, because there's a lot of ideas, design ideas, and whatnot that are no longer practiced or even acknowledged by people in the new school. And that's because we are tribal. There's a disconnect between certain groups of people. There's a wall up where people don't communicate. And I hate to say it, a lot of people from the old school that are in the new school are people that were, how can I say, maybe not as understanding of even how the old school worked themselves. They're a little lost. And so they're not communicating how we really did it back in the old school era. I just realize, things have been lost. They really have. And so you'll notice on my YouTube channel, I'm covering a lot of old school games. I'll go into the early 2000s, and at one point I'll hit new games. But I'm cycling through right now. I'm covering games in a certain order. I'm doing fact-based streams. So I decided to start right back at the beginning and just go all the way up to the new school games at one point. So when I say I'm covering old school, it's not the only gaming I plan to cover or talk about on this channel. And I'm not trying to say what new school people are doing is wrong, or I don't like them, or whatever game they enjoy, I'm trying to just attack it. Here's what I do. I do push back against elements that I think are not good for gaming. So say, I don't want to rehash the entire thing, but looking at a gaming session where 25% of the session, not even in pause mode, is people texting, two guys joking over here, and a guy looking in the book, the DM, looking up a rule. And 25% of sessions can be like that for many of the new school groups that are doing 5e Dungeons and Dragons, and even some other games. And I'm like, that's a killer. That's gonna make things boring, because you go out of a pace, you go out of a flow, and then you got to go back in. Then you go out again. Then you got to go back in. It's hard to even get to the flow, but when you get to it, you want to play to the flow and just keep going forward. New school people will notice a flow in play when they're in combat, because that's one of the areas, say in 5e, where you'll spend more time doing the combat than just talking on the phone or texting on the phone or people joking. A lot of time will be spent in the combat going forward, doing it continuously. And that continuous method forward hits a flow, and that's why many 5e people enjoy combat more than other areas of the game. But other areas of the game, you can create that same flow, that same, I'm focusing on what's going on, you enjoy that. But if you bypass things, roll dice instead of doing it, if you don't make no attempt, you can't get there. So I'm not trying to change the hobby. I'm not trying to change how people want to experience the game. I'm just trying to share information that will let individuals and their tables decide how they want to experience a game. That's what we do. We all play games differently. We always have approached the games differently. Different games, different methods, the whole 9 yards. Nothing has changed, and I don't change that approach. When I share information, it's not about trying to change the hobby, because I don't think I have to. I think people that want to do 2 or 3 hour sessions, they'll do them. People that still want to do longer sessions, they still do them. They still go on. Nothing has changed. I just realize if certain information isn't shared between certain groups because there's tribalism or walls up, I try to break through that wall and just share the information and go, here's what you don't know, because you're going to assume what you're doing is what we did for 8 hours. It's not the same. We didn't do the same method or the same way of approaching the game. So that flow becomes very important for how we got to 8 or 10 hours, how it was like breathing air, and how we enjoyed it. So we didn't do something that is tedious that we didn't enjoy. If you're not enjoying your 3 hour sessions, like to go beyond that, well, trust me, if we were doing the same thing, we wouldn't enjoy it either. It's not like something has changed. The way you're going about your sessions, yes, it's tedious. Yes, it's boring. Yes, it's something even I wouldn't do for 8 hours. So don't think we've been doing that. We do what you do for 8 hours. No, we focus on the game, get into a flow, put the phone down, don't do the jokes. And most of the game designers would advise you rulings over rules. Why would they say rulings over rules? Because instead of taking too much time looking up a rule by the DM should just make a ruling on the spot to keep the flow going. That flow, that enjoyment space, that little area is like sort of like a drug you get addicted to in the hobby, and it keeps people around for decades. But many of you are not even experiencing that drug. You don't even know what it is. Well, some of you do experience it in combat, but it can be had in every area of the game, and you're missing out. And I want you to know, but just to know it exists. So you can at least try it, go after it, and that's it. So if you're mad at me as if I oppose you in the new school, you don't have to be. That's not my approach here, and if you take it that way, I don't know what to say to you. If you really have this thing where you want to push 2 or 3 hour sessions on everyone, and that's how you want everyone to experience a game, I don't even understand why you take that approach. You should be happy with what you do at your table, and if you're happy with it, you do what you do. You should never be offended by what other people do at their table, even if it's different. We've always done things differently from each other. That's common practice. The idea of trying to control the hobby or control how other people game or experience these games, to me, is maddening. It's insane. And we should never be insane. It's a hobby to enjoy. I'm just here trying to share information with people to maybe improve what they are doing. That's it. That's all I'm trying to do. So if you're offended by that, I think you have lost the plot in what's going on here. Okay, take care.